thought I'd start off by yelling because it all seems like we're kind of in the same vibe right now. We're all sort of in like a kind of a state. Or maybe I'm just projecting because that's kind of where I am. So, it is so nice to see you all here on this very gloomy, cold afternoon. I'm really happy to see you. My name is Brass Rabbit, and I am the host of Story in Verse. I think it's really silly that most of you are sitting on this side for some reason. I like that a lot. That's new and different. So I am really excited to welcome you guys here to the space. For those of you who are new or for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming here. We are a storytelling, poetry, and anything else, spoken word, prose, whatever it is that you can fit on the stage, as long as you're not using recorded audio, you are allowed to do so. So, we have a theme for tonight's event. If you didn't know that, you have no need to panic. You can still come up on the stage, it's totally fine, but our theme is Ready, Set, Go. So, I think that that's everything I have to tell you. Without further ado, let's give a very warm welcome to our first poet, Heather Smith. Heather, come on up. Start with you. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It's nice because one time I had to follow somebody that was really, really good. So, so I just have 3 poems tonight. The first one is called, can y'all hear me?
A little bit closer, yeah.
So the first one's called Under the Sun. I haven't been everywhere, yet I have seen it all. Cities in the spring, villages in the fall. I've enjoyed the beaches each summer playing volleyball. I've Christmased in the mountains, gone down the slopes enthralled. I haven't met everyone, still none are strangers to me. The ambitious are driven to a fault, they drive their loved ones crazy. The adaptable are an amiable lot, their way is very pleasing. The analytical are a thoughtful bunch, they'd rather have data than follow a hunch. The anguish tend towards worry. They need time to process. They can't be hurried. I haven't been everywhere. I haven't met everyone. Yet I know the people and places around the world and under the sun. These next 2 are really short. The first one's called Longing. Longing for a place where I have never been, missing friendly folks I have never known, dreaming of a time when hopes will come to pass, wishing into being good things that will last. And the last one I just found today. I wrote it in August of 2024 when the last blue moon took place, and it's called The Next Blue Moon. May 31st, 2026. So I thought, how appropriate, right? The next blue moon, May 31st, 2026. What all shall come of this? If we're to believe the astrologers, we'll let go and start fresh. A time to heal and catch our breath. A time to know ourselves and discover new depths. Thank you.
All right, I would like to give our next performer a very, very, very big shout out because they traveled here all the way today from Canada. Please give a very warm welcome to Samir.
She can't keep a secret. Yeah, so I was in Toronto and I decided to take an earlier flight to avoid the storms at Newark Airport. I experienced a storm last night and I got stuck till 10 at the airport, and then it was 12 before I reached Canada, so watch out for the rain. So continuing on the theme of ready, set, and go, this is something I had written for my nephew and his newly married wife. It's like they're ready, they're set, they go, what do they look forward to as a married couple? So that is what was the supposition behind this piece. It's called The Long Journey Together. It promises to be a long journey together, to stick with each other till the very end. The start is promising. They seem made for each other. in the way that they look and are together. Cherish every moment, cherish each other. It isn't an accident of fate, but destiny's dictates. You deserve to be together, make the most of it. Loving each other and forgetting after every little tussle. Do not let any bitterness foster. It is a short life, it seems, as you live it through, from every unraveling moment to every silent instant. There will be children to celebrate the togetherness. They will bind you together like nothing can. But they'll leave in 18 years, leaving you as sole companions for each other. But remember, there is no real leaving. They will give you their love and courage from afar, not physically present. They will be what you two raised them to be. And as you start your lives, remember that there is a bittersweet end phase, several decades down the road, and you will only have each other at that stage. Your love for each other is the only bulwark against trying and testing times. And the positive memories you build starting today will be the calming influence in inevitable turbulent times. And those will feel so tranquil and supportive that will always be together in the journey of life. Thank you.
Too early to give you a micro story. All right, please put your hands together for our next performer, Jenna. Jenna, come on up.
Hi, okay. I'm going to read 2 poems. The first one is called On the Cycle of Suburbia. Suburbia hoards space and hoarders. We ache for space. The family next door cut their sound waves with stucco walls and distance. Think of them only as stilted portraits, smiling at nothing but space. Inside, cut the tension by keeping your distance. Hoard thoughts to tell no one. That space is dad's space. Don't bother dad in his space. Boast yard space with swollen lawns. Hoard water and the color green. Beg for a backyard playset that you'll never use. At least it fills the space. Grow up and resent space. Sneak out to feel something. Feel nothing. Give your hoarded thoughts to a stranger. Take them back. Decide you need some space. Move away. Hoard new things in an apartment. Fall asleep to city sounds. Learn to resent city sounds. Fill your lungs with pollution. Start to crave some useless space. Move back. Sift through hoarded memories. Keep them all. Give your thoughts to a new stranger. Keep that stranger. Forget yourself to hold their space. Hoard tension. Keep your distance. Admire the backyard's empty space. Laugh at the concept of closeness in cities, concrete in cities. Laugh at the lack of green. Hoard more tension, keep more distance, become a stilted portrait, smiling at nothing but space. That's one. And then the second one is called, these are kind of sad. I'm not, I'm like, they feel really like pessimistic, but I feel like that's when I write. So that's just what it is. The second one's called On Chaperoning the School Dance. I'm sorry for all the hours you spent chaperoning the school dance. The thing is, I resented you for it. It was something about home dripping into those walls, something about your presence reminding me of the two of me, the one that cried on the floor while you meticulously steamed every wrinkle out of my dress, and the one wearing it, not a centimeter of fabric out of place. There was something about you there, lurking with the knowledge of the very way I liked my eggs, something about your tenderness and comfort and all too much empathy, something about the way it made me feel safe, too safe. It's too easy to deem a mother's presence at the school dance as embarrassing. Shame is only a fraction of it. Most of it is the way you could glimmer in the corner with too much love. I resented you for knowing the two of me and still loving me enough to show up. I'm sorry for all the hours you spent chaperoning school dances, because now, standing alone in the corner at a college party, I might actually need you. I might actually need you to bring the soft air of home into these walls, to wash the beer stains out of my clothes, to let me cry about the stupid fact that no one here knows the way I like my eggs. I'm sorry that I understand it all now, and I'm sorry that I still can't say it.
All right, up next, please welcome Jeff Hansel. Jeff, come on up.
I also have 3 poems. There's a progression of these, so it's kind of like ready, set, go.
Yep, I'll buy it.
Well, thank you. Okay, the first one is called Death Among the Stars. Death Among the Strangers. Longing for a connection, oh, won't you look my way? Don't be like the others, please don't look away. I already know too many strangers, too cold for my wanting soul. The world is full of strangers, too big a space. The more I fall for them, the more I am in danger. My unfulfilled heart bears the scars. It swells, it burns out, and dies among the stars. The next one is called, thank you. Well, I'm done. The next one is called Looking Back. Time marches on. Since my life dawned, daily grind becomes the norm. No time to pause, the boots are worn, embracing my flaws. Steps begin to slow, cadence down to a tiptoe, and before you know it, tiptoe gives way to a shuffle. Life is quite a kerfuffle. And the last one is called Write It Down. When negative thoughts swirl in your head, thoughts that you just can't stop, write it down. Put pen to paper, get those thoughts out, especially if they're getting you down. If you can't hug it out, write it out. Put those feelings down. Give them a name, then let them go. Let them be lonely. Close the book on them. Positive vibes only.
Sometimes people make me little drawings that are like either really obvious what it is, or it's just sort of like, well, that's abstract. I like that. All right. All right. Up next, our next performer, you can follow them on Instagram at sundayblu.poet. Put your hands together for Sunday Blue.
Hi guys, I have 2 poems tonight. The first one's called I Think I Saved Your Life. I'm at the kitchen table from the back porch and you tell me, happiness is really something to appreciate. It's rare, you say, and the screen door closes that last 3 inches, a hydraulic hinge I never thought worked quite right. The moment is slipping farther away. The words I'm writing seem a strange attempt at bridging me and it. I imagine you're watching the stars as you inhale a drag of a cigarette, and it's too late to imagine you somewhere else other than here. So I smile at you at the kitchen table, and I think I saved your life temporarily. Quite by the accident of love, and you are here inside, sitting across from me, scribbling words on paper, quietly resenting a piece I couldn't give you tonight. We walked in the wet fall, smelling leaves just before the screen door closed. I'm trying to think of how to make you more curious of what a gift like this could be like, however queer it must feel like to be alive, when it could be a betrayal to have saved you the way I did temporarily. The 2 times I've seen a life change, it was on a train and coming down a flight of stairs. Those right there, I point. Geese sing now in my mind when I think of it. They remind me of the day we laid on moss reading a Mary Oliver. No poem could tell the future like that one did. A song of heaven. You folding a blanket in the sun, I don't regret it saving you. I don't regret how I knew. This just wasn't your year. But I think right now, you're eating chocolate and you're thinking about the stars. Thank you. And One more quick one is called Antidotes to the Fear of Death by Rebecca Elson. Sometimes, as an antidote to the fear of death, I eat the stars. Those nights lying on my back, I suck them from the quenching dark till they are all inside me, pepper hot and sharp. Sometimes instead, I stir myself into a universe still young, still warm as blood. No outer space, just space, the light of all, the not yet stars drifting like bright mist, and all of us, and everything already there but constrained by form, and sometimes it's enough. Sometimes it's enough to lie down here on earth beside our long ancestral bones, to walk across the cobble fields of our discarded skulls, each like a treasure, like a chrysalis, thinking, whatever left these husks flew off on bright wings. Thanks, everybody.
This is your first micro story, just so you know. Hold your chairs. Tell us about a time you trusted your gut from the jump. When I was about 13, I was average for a minute. After attending a school fair, I decided to race across traffic to get home in time for Saved by the Bell. A car going about 60 miles an hour nearly collided with me, so I instinctually jumped on top of the hood of the car and then leapt off the landing in a dive roll on a nearby lawn. Thankfully, my averaging days are over. Maybe. That person decided they deserve to have both sides. All right, up next to the mic, please give a very warm welcome to Scott Allen. Scott, come on up.
Thank you, Brass Rabbit. You'll soon know the title of this poem. Are you howling? Raging over the tilt-a-whirl world? Why not? A revolution be a fire lit under inequities. Name them for yourself. Inequities burning families, hopes, happiness, health, in jeopardy and sinking beneath burdens, bias, emotional, financial, cultural, societal. And avarice tilts the world out of balance. Howling anger, fire in the gut, for gutting is what's being done. Howl, pain severe, ripping muscles, brain cells scream. Fuck the bullshit. Fuck things not satisfying. Things crushing desires, crushing cities, counties, courtesies. Howl, howling like a mower, mulching as it cuts. Turned in on self-grinding, said mind turns thoughts into insignificant ramblings. Out of balance, I howl. Out of balance, I howl. Primal growls guttural, churning, upending reason, rationality. Anger floods my mind, muscles spasm, twitch. Unknown sparks dread, optimism cautious. This one is a little on the heavier side yet. Okay. Come on, turn. To all the seasons, turn. All right, never mind. This is called Of Life. Loneliness grips you, aftershock, despair, disbelief. This old house, its walls, furniture holds mortal lessons, professionalism, child upbringing, 27 years of marital adoration. Life once so live, once so intimate, motivated. Motivated, charismatic, all that caused the mainspring of a pulsing life, lives in sync that sang, singing joyously, imperishable memories, melodies. Two Broadway spirits once tango entwined, new realm of uncertainty, precarious. Hearts harmonious, poetically rhythmic, suspended by virus strained across homes, cities, states. Efforts at home inferior to prevalent global circumstances until body's oxygen severely exhausted, lungs compromised, a thing invisible controls all. Emergency transport requisite. This thing has a mind of its own. Transport goes, flat-footed, street desolate, heart constricted. Progress unimaginable, direction unknown. Daughter, care essential. Home retains safekeeping and love. Quarantined, everything via phone, singing, reading, everything constrained. Privacy non-viable. Nurse, go-between. Husband, father, daughter, support needed, necessary, unsure, how. Vibrancy exhausted. Robin exhausted. Suffering virulent. Now time to transgression. Gladly would I accompany her. Emptiness, silence. 27 years ended in coma. Responsibilities prevail. Assurance for our daughter. Integrity to mourn, to grieve, to know the hollow of what was lover, wife, soulmate, put asunder. Aura colors, 3, once overlaid, 1 color empty. Thank you.
All right, and if anyone has or is holding on to a slip of paper because you have just so become inspired to perform upon this stage, feel free to just silently and tacitly, like a little bird, just run it up to me or fly it up to me, and I will take it and I will put you on this stage. Now that PSA is over, up next, please give a very warm welcome to Mark. Let's go, Mark!
Thank you. Let's show some appreciation for Brass Rabbit and the Arts Council of Princeton. I've been reading, looking, studying creativity after the world wars. And a gentleman by the name, a German painter, Otto Dix, D-I-X. He would paint these portraits of people after World War I, and they just had a sense of desolation, strength, resistance, and a sense of waiting for change. And the two poems came out of that. This is called The Waitland. As the seasons flow cycle endless tomorrows, weather patterns create the movement of time, while men sweat, grunt, and lift free weights, exhaling heavily as they watch young women gracefully walk on treadmills, holding tightly to their phone mirrors, deciding on a self-image for tonight's entertainment. Nightly, the spirit of smiling Hannah still sits at the curved angle corner of any tavern, her sweat lightening the wooden bar's rim's darkness. For a drink, she will show you her parts, ignoring their lost desire shape of youth. Now it's more humorous than sad. Budweiser Johnny stands in his daily spot, frictioning the brown floor beige. He orders the usual. No one has seen him eat anything but beer nuts. Rumor is that he and Hannah were a couple, but no one remembers when. Now they are the undenied nightfall guardians. At 2 a.m., the outside treed mourning dove incessantly coos for companionship against the cold night, repetitively singing loneliness until sunrise. Colorful tarot cards appear on a table, defining ancient pictured possibilities with quantum probabilities of chance. Guessing always is helpful. The last call bell is hammered until all realize its fatal voice. Gather they must, young and old, looking up, shuffle to the muzzle, roof, and drunken dance to welcome the dawn. Expecting tomorrow to be the fire-sun celebratory difference for loss and solitude. Maybe, just maybe. Thank you. This is related, looking at the creativity after the world wars and any conflict, the amazing part of humanity to deal with destruction and disorder and chaos and to come back from it all. And being a mathematician, you look for patterns, you look for a formula. That's how we advance society. Your phones that you love and have are based on a formula that captured light, okay? So that's how my brain works. And in reading all of this and seeing the images beautiful and ugly and distorted and chaotic and glorious, I'm gonna sound like an old hippie. The one thing that keeps humanity going is that love, that starting over, that close family, that friendship. It's love. And this is called love. Love is the deepest sound, rippling throughout the universe without interference, never ceasing, without obstruction or dissipation, familiar to all who listen with open spirit, echoing echoes echo at a constant volume, no need for increase or decrease, a constant temperature of existence, a comfort vibration of cascading blanket warmth. Far beyond earthly life and understanding, where the many are infinitely united as one. Thank you.
All right, I have a real quick PSA for you guys. So I run many things, unfortunately, for some reason. And one of the things that I run is these things, but I do many of them. So I have another one that I run in Trenton. It's called the Trenton Speaks Open Mic. And it was scheduled for Saturday, but we're moving it because somebody doesn't think about American holidays at all. So if anyone is interested in spending a Sunday afternoon with a bunch of poets doing a similar sort of thing with a little bit of a different vibe and a different group, I also have another event. It will be the Trenton Speaks Open Mic, May edition, on Sunday, May 31st. At 4 p.m. So you can enjoy your Memorial Day. You don't have to pick. So if you're interested in more information about that, you can talk to me later, but I did just want to mention it. There is another one of these as a weekend experience, and it is not going to coincide with our upcoming summer holiday. Yes? Will there be hot dogs? No, we couldn't afford them, no. All right, up next to the mic, please give a very warm welcome to Maria Mia Salazar. See? Salazar!
Man, I just lost it. I had them, and now I don't know where they are. God. Oh, no. Okay. So I think I'm going to do two. Let's see how it feels after this. This one, we wrote it for, it was a group poem. So this was my piece. And we were kind of trying to piece together how each of us felt about what's happening in the world right now, you know, with everything, politics, ICE, all of that. This doesn't have a name yet, but can you see me? Black braided hair, olive skin, and vivid brown eyes of a dreamer. Born a condor, forced to fly up north, leave its home behind, with the promise of freedom and safety and a better life. The American dream sold to broken hearts on papeles as thin as ice. Dreams carried on the frail wings of many butterflies across the oceans, drenched in fear, love, and courage, ancestral survival emotions. Can you see me? A Kevlar helmet, camouflage gear, and enraged brown eyes of a warrior. I became the eagle. I pledged to protect the innocent and weak. Promised my life to fight for this land against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Foreign and domestic, but when the vision becomes blurry and tears begin to fall, where is the all-fucking-seeing eye? Can you see them? Is the blindfold tight enough over your eyes, unwilling to peek under that soft veil of privilege? I know you hear the cursed screams and cries of the people who pick your apples for your pies. But who cares, right? They're not worthy of empathy because social media tells you they're the enemy. Can you see them? When warriors are used as weapons against the people they swore to protect. When little arms are desperately reaching out for safety, but only find cruelty and emptiness where love once held them. Are we great yet? Can you see the last glares of our humanity and kindness? Must cover my ears to not see our extinction, close my eyes to hear their pain. Can you see us? The world is crumbling, the up is falling down, and the west is heading east, and the south is flying up north, and fuck it all, follow the yellow brick road. Reality is often so grim, bloody, and painful, but that's exactly why the world needs us. the poets, the artists, musicians, believers, the empaths, uplifters. To hate is to succumb to weakness. To love is to embody courage. And we are the love warriors. And the revolution has begun. So stand the fuck by, because we are coming, united as one. So, thank you. Okay, and this one is, I got inspired to write about this because I suffer from insomnia, and 3:30 in the morning, I'm like, what am I gonna do? So this is a little one about that. It's called Naufragio. I don't even know what that word is in English. Yes, thank you. Shipwreck. I actually got inspired by, have you guys seen the Medusa shipwreck, the painting? Yeah, look it up. It's pretty, it's about our like last grim of humanity when we are faced with, our last hope dying, basically. It's 3:30 a.m. and dread jolts me awake. Loneliness is sitting by the feet of the bed, and indifference flashes a threatening smirk from the chase. Why won't they release their hold on my neck? Did I make them believe that I enjoy their painful embrace? Stupid girl, playing life and death games. The seas were angry last night. Words carry through rough sea waters, delivered to distant salty eye waters. Could you hear me call out your name? La luna silently contemplating our foolishness. Specks of dust blown away by the sandstorm. Did we find our way back to each other's gaze? Did we make it to the shore? Or are we shipwrecks on the raft of Medusa? That's it. Thank you.
Tell us about a time you trusted your gut from the jump. I met an unexpected love in this room, and she is here with me now. All right, our next performer will be sharing a story, and they would like us to know that they are glad to be here. Please give a very warm welcome to Woody Karski-Wilson.
So, Jenna, a little bit of advice. You talk about bringing your mom to a college party. Don't do that. Okay, hello, everyone. I'm Woody Karski-Wilson. Here's 3 stories related to tonight's theme. In the first story, the quarry is ready for plucking. The game is set, and yet someone, perhaps undeserving, will go free. Ready, set, go. I get points for that. So, robbery. The menacing man in a heavy brown coat shadowed Mr. Fletcher out of the Commerce District, then carefully cut him from the herd using delicate techniques of implied challenge, like dispassionate surgery. And so Mr. Fletcher found himself in a blind alley, swallowing nervously. "My money or my life, huh?" he said immediately, regretting his choice of words. Browncoat was tall and rough with weary but vigilant eyes. "Oh, no, sir. To kill is a sin, but to rough someone up, well, that's just life." Mr. Fletcher, a factory owner not inclined to conflict, let out a shaky breath and reached into his vest for his bill book, handing it over. Browncoat thanked him with a nod, took only half the money, and returned the bill book. "Greed is also a sin, sir. Follow me back. This place ain't safe." Bewildered, Mr. Fletcher obeyed, half expecting a trick, but he was soon on familiar streets where he had gambled for years. "Please tell me you're using the money to support your ailing mother," he said, in an attempt at casual humor. Browncoat shook his head. "Oh, no, sir. It's mostly for drinking, some gambling of my own." Emboldened by that reply, Mr. Fletcher squared his shoulders, clearing his throat. "Then perhaps one day we could meet at the gambling hall where you might try your luck against me in cards?" Browncoat let out a quick bark of laughter. "No, Lord, no, sir. You're a very proficient gambler. I don't wish to be robbed." With that, he gave a quick bow before departing the scene. And what was Mr. Fletcher to do? Report it to the police? He still had half his money. He whistled gaily while walking back toward the gambling hall. Ah, the siren call of addiction. If you or someone you know has a gambling addiction, don't call me. Poets give good poetry but bad advice. So in the next story, it's ready, set, go, whoops. The trick. My friend's beachcomber Jeep. Summer, so no doors. Dumb teenagers, so no seatbelts. 50 miles an hour is not that fast. But there was this girl, Sheila, in the back seat daring me to do tricks. And she was wearing a sundress that was possibly see-through. So I'm standing on the outboard, barely holding on, and one slip and I'm flying. 50 miles an hour is so much faster when you're not inside the car. Lucky instinct made me pose like a surfer, and I stayed that way when my feet hit the road. Thank the God of lucky fools, the beach road was so sandy. I slid and slid, feet barely heating up through the rubber soles. It felt like something happening to someone else. Finally, I stopped sliding and stood there, unable to believe I had survived. Mouth open, brain frozen, shoes smoking, one dead shoe sole curled up behind me like a fried caterpillar. My friend pulled up. Dude, awesome! Do it again so Sheila can record it. She was suddenly there beside me, laughing in the sun, that alluring target of my youthful desire. But I did not repeat my accidental trick again, and Sheila did not go home with me. I think it's because I puked my shock all over her sundress, which was, for the record, see-through in the right light, but not waterproof. I wish that had happened. And in the final story, an old man is ready. He just needs the impetus to set him so that he may go. In search of lonely. My father wanted lonely, and he had the money to get it. I was his project manager since I'd proven myself competent when coordinating my mother's funeral 2 years ago. He hadn't done much work since then, but given his vast resources, did not need to. Still, his spark was muted, and it pained me to see, so I threw myself into the project. A lighthouse is lonely if you're the only keeper, so I found him a lighthouse for sale after the appropriate offers, bribes, promises, and threats. But it wasn't lonely enough with the birds and sun and occasional ships passing by. So I had it moved to an atoll the United States Navy forgot it owned. They happily remembered when I signed the check with many zeros. Father visited, biting his lip at the sight of seagulls swooping for fish in the surf. I like seagulls, he said, shaking his head. Damn it. Where on earth, then? The empty quarter still had Bedouins, and forget Antarctica. I knew he also liked seals, and how can you not like penguins? So I had the lighthouse transported into near-Earth orbit at absurd expense. Well, I said, watching his face as his eyes followed the contrails of a passenger rocket far below. Our mag boots clanked loudly. Earth is so crowded, he said, shaking his head. So I had it moved at greater, more absurd expense to the Trojan point, trailing Earth many thousands of miles away. He didn't like that either. You can see Earth from here, he said. Okay, I answered. Why bother arguing? He had his reasons. At expense I still cannot truly believe. I had them taken to a trailing orbit behind Jupiter. He shook his head. Such a beautiful planet. How can you be lonely looking at that? And using these magnetic boots does not allow for stately pacing, which is necessary during true loneliness. Fine, I'm done with playing around. It took a year to get authorization across so many jurisdictions. I had them heavy field the whole project into the outer fringes of the Oort cloud itself, from which the sun just looks like another star and not a particularly bright one. According to our powerful radar, also mind-numbingly expensive, the nearest neighbor was one dark inert rock 3 feet in diameter, spinning aimlessly 500,000 miles away. The nearest shipping trajectory was 20 times that. A field generator kept space out and air in, though the air was pretty cold. The gas stove was circa 1950s. The gas exchanger interface and air cleaner 200 years later, but it leaks. The refrigerator had an insulated hole in the wall. It was dusty in the lighthouse, and the gravity sim plates cost more than all of that combined. So, standing at the top of that lighthouse, staring out into a hostile void peppered with tiny blazing lights and not a single indication of light, is the bleakest experience I have ever suffered. And I did it with the construction team still making noise in the background when the project was complete, and I stood beside my father after he took his tour. His haunted black eyes revealed what he had seen. I think the coup de grace is the fact we were not allowed to operate the beacon light from Earth due to navigation lane rules that frankly made no sense at all. The lighthouse was useless, dead, form without function or purpose. Well, Dad, is it finally, I pray to God, lonely enough for you? Positively ghastly. Done. He took a deep breath, snorted, left on the next downfield, and within 2 months was happily married. He never returned to that lighthouse, and for the record, neither did I. And so a lighthouse floating dead beyond the solar system, how's that for bleak? Free stuff, however, is not bleak. I have copies of the story I just read with photos of the illustrations for each story that I commissioned from my daughter, Lucia, to give her something to do. She painted it. So she does original work on commission. Her email's on the sheet, just saying, I'll put them in the back.
All right, our next performer walked in unexpectedly, but they wanted us to know that's the beauty of life. Please give a very warm welcome to Ambika Singh. Ambika, come on up.
I'm sorry for making all the noise while walking. Oh no. So I have a couple of things to mention here. First of all, I like to talk, but people leave, so I've chosen a place where not many of you would have the liberty to do so. Secondly, I was not aware of this event happening here, and I have not yet spoken in a public gathering like this in the United States, so forgive me for my jittery body language. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, and I express my thoughts to myself. I believe that expressions should not stay inside. Whatever we feel should have an outlet. Even if it doesn't reach people, it should have an outlet. So I was not aware. I mean, like, forgive me for everything that I'm speaking right now because I'm a little overwhelmed too. But I was not aware of the theme that was held for the day. But while coming here, I read, it was ready, steady, go. Ready, set, go. Life doesn't give us many chances to be ready for whatever it brings to us. But I decided that today is the day when I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be set and come to this place and express myself without feeling, how did I perform? So there's a poem which is very close to my heart, and I've titled it as Obsidian. Doesn't serve the title for, doesn't serve the theme of the day, but certainly does serve a purpose which is very close to my heart, and I feel it would resonate with people of color. The reference of this poem is, dead as ice or barren as snow, everything beautiful is not white, I know. The dark is ugly, undesirable, meant for hatred and scorn. The fair have power and privilege, a matter of pride, a medal worn. Given by God, judged by us, the colors paint both the body and soul. Those who mock my color and laugh, challenge and question the Creator's role. With a bruised heart, not black as yours, I stare the mirror and watch what is told. What or who asked the mirror before the color assess the mold. Sit back, laugh, and hurt the people you know, in the glory of the color you think you own. Myself shines brighter, I'm happy with it. Continue obsessing over your perishable skin tone. That's the poem. Thank you. And while I was coming, I was rushing my son here, and he was not aware of my very, I would say, this thing that was running in my mind. So he was like, where are we going? And I said, we're going to a place where I might meet people who actually are my kinds. So I'm just rushing over to that place. And he was like, okay, mommy, have you prepared yourself to be at that place? Or are you just walking in like you always do? And I was like, okay, I think I'm creative enough to just make up something and speak. But whatever, I think the people would be kinder because they're creative and they're artistic, so let it be. Then he said to me, Mommy, I think you're very smart. And whatever you speak to me makes sense, so it's going to make sense to them as well. I hope he's making a video and he does continue to believe that I'm smart. I didn't let him down. And I'm very glad to be a part of this community and this event going on here. And I hope that next event that I attend would be in sync with the theme and I'll be better prepared. Thank you for bearing with me.
Our next performer will be gracing the stage, will be sharing some poetry. Please give a very, very warm round of applause to Keith O'Shaughnessy.
You nailed it. This is my third time, I think, attending, so I've heard that prohibition that you open with against hate speech each time. I'm always curious, has there ever been someone in the audience that was like, oh, damn it. Like, I thought tonight was going to be my night to shine, Anyway, so I've given a number of readings from this book, one of them on these very premises not 10 days ago. In fact, some of you were already subjected. Oh boy, yeah, that's why she's hiding behind the glass. Yeah. So I have an established set list that I rarely deviate from, but I thought the time might be right for a B-side, if anybody even catches that reference anymore. The youngins wouldn't. Maybe a deep cut. The book is set like in a quasi-Russian dreamscape, and the cover girl here is this anarchically violent, subversively vulgar who would never make the cut. If he read a poem, it probably wouldn't make the cut. The vaudeville stick would have to come out. But there are all of these characters, like it's typical of that motif, like a chess master and so forth. But in this one fable of sorts, it involves a village idiot who, imagine that of all things, who's one of the stars of the show. One evening, an idiot turned up at a seminary and burst into the great hall of the rectory library, screeching like the monkey of an organ grinder. The seminarians, long since habituated to their discipline, took scant notice and soon enough returned dutifully to their reverences. Still in the throes of his own rhapsody, the feeble wit proceeded to wave his arms about in a spastic fashion after the manner of a Petrushka puppet, importuning the young theologians to desist. "Arise," he exclaimed excitedly. "You are living things, and the way of your life, this unfeeling being, is inimical to the life force itself." Some of the aspirants murmured nervously for a time, but before too much longer had settled back into pious contemplation. Unfazed by his auditors' inattention, the interloper persisted in his exhortations, shimmying at the limbs like a wooden-legged gypsy. "May you have no idea and be of no opinion, for nothing you will ever say, much less believe, will prove at all interesting or important in the slightest. The world is not asking you what you think or how you feel, is it now? Afire with defiance, the proselytizer then leapt up atop a carol bench and thundered on in a tone of heightened urgency. Yes, we are a species in flight from our own biology, such meek and meager creatures as have based their very way of life on the abnegation of its nature and called it civilization. Had he been granted longer audience, doubtless the zealot would have gone on with no less charismatic an abandon to admonish the emasculate house cats still sitting there swishing their whiskers and licking pasca from their paws to get back to sniffing out once again the lithesome tigers yet chuffing in their blood. Except by then the night guard, himself crippled with diffidence, had summoned the constabulary, who, before he could perorate any further, dragged the hysteric off shrieking to the asylum, which obviated the need for transliterating too much more of this little screed. Anyhow, what became of him there is simply one of those things we are not privy to, nor should wish to be, believe me. Even so, not too long thereafter, 3 of the novitiates, under the sway of the madman's apostasies, shed their cassocks and traversed the countryside, giving testament to the revelation in a sacred crusade to roust their fellow layabouts out of the selfsame complacency. Somewhat later, one or another of them, in the grasp of the same enthusiasm, even went on to found a sect of ecstatic flagellants, to which, in a subsequent era of unrest, hordes of serfs would be forcibly converted before getting hauled off to a gulag with lepers and other such like defectives to be pressed into even more gruesome servitude as dissidents, only to contract malaria, which has a way of clearing the mind. Thank you.
Tell us about a time you trusted your gut from the jump. Honestly, it took me seemingly a lifetime to remember what it felt like to trust my gut. So many things conspired to erode that trust. Now, I do. I know what it feels like to. All right. All right. Hold on. Our next performer wants us to know that they recently moved to Bordentown City. Welcome. Put your hands together for Christina.
Hello. Okay, so I also don't have a poem related to the literal theme, but I have been ready, set, going my whole life, and then right before I turned 30, I started thinking about, what have I really been doing? So this is a reflection on that, and it's called Going Off Script. I'm a rule follower, a big fan of checklists and goals to hit that easily identify my accomplishments. And I love the societal script, the blueprint that tells me how to level up in life, a guiding light that doesn't make me think too hard about if this is stuff I actually like. Part 1, grade school. Make friends and lots of mistakes as long as they don't impact your grades or land you in detention. Dances and clubs and student council, kiss boys and sneak around and try a little alcohol so you're not an absolute wreck in college, which you have to go to, by the way. Part 2 is future planning and signing up for more clubs, more mistakes, and massive amounts of debt. Can I graduate yet? I can't wait to be an adult. Internships and a campus job and picking classes that will boost my resume while also being easy enough to take when I'm hungover as fuck. A stable relationship that will set me up with a loving roommate, someone to split all these bills with. Graduate and get a job, it's gotta be corporate. Let's not forget about all that debt that's coming due. Part 3 encapsulates my 20s. I got the corporate job, the house, the marriage, the dogs, and the therapist. The script has served me well, set me up. I didn't even have to think too much. Just follow the steps to get set up for success in a life of, well, what's next? The script has 2 options for a woman of 29. Traditionally, I could raise babies and ultimately hate my life. A modern script-following woman would start climbing the ranks towards being a high-titled executive, also probably with some kids, but I value my time too much. So what happens when I no longer relate to the script? What do my 30s bring when I don't like the sound of either of those things? And how can I accomplish my dreams when they don't align with the life the script has set up for me? This American dream fantasy. As I've gotten older, I've realized mine has fewer picket fences and more airport terminals. So I'm wrapping up my 20s, trying to do things that scare me, in hopes I can figure out what's best for me as I move into my 30s off script. Thank you.
All right, our next performer wanted us to know, I am in love with words. Welcome, Rayon Cawthon.
First of all, I want to thank Brass Rabbit for setting this whole thing up, and also everyone who had the guts to come up here and perform. So this poem that I'm gonna read two. This first one was actually nominated in the New Jersey state of the NAMI Poetry Contest. So I'm one of the finalists. This is titled Recovery. A year ago, I was laid out flat, back, pressed into a hospital bed that didn't know my name. Arms tenured, veins occupied, machines speaking in beeps like they were counting down something I couldn't see. 15 lines running through me like my body had become a battlefield wired for survival. Blood leaving, blood coming back. Doctors moving in shifts, hands on me like I was a question they were trying to answer in real time. And me, in and out, slipping between silence and sound, fighting just to stay in my own body. Because it wasn't just flesh on the line, my mind was drifting too, pulling away from me in pieces, like I can lose myself, even if my body stayed. That's the part nobody sees. The war behind the eyes, the question of quiet struggle to stay present when everything in you is trying to shut down. But something held me, a present, a voice, love reaching through the static and finding me anyway. And now, a year later, I'm standing in the aftermath of what should have taken me out, breathing without machines, still here, still carrying the memory of a body that almost gave out and a spirit that didn't. That's my recovery. Thank you. And this next one is it's titled Ocean Views. Dark hands appear like silhouettes in morning fog. Their lanterns swaying, slow, casting gold halos on water that barely breathes. The vessel eases forward, gentle as a final exhale, ropes loosing from wooden posts that have held generations of goodbyes. Footsteps soften on the deck. Voices drop to whisper as if the air itself has grown sacred. Windows glow warm behind us. Rooms once loud with stories now resting in a hush that feels earned. The sky opens wider than before, painted with colors no artist could keep. Deep violet melting into pale amber, streaks of criticism stretching like curtains, pulled back from a grand arrival. Even the wind slows down to watch. Passengers gather near the rail, hands resting on cold metal, eyes fixed on the widening shoreline. No tears fall, only a quiet understanding settling into chests like steady breath. After a long climb uphill, the engines fade to a murmur, then to memory. Water laps the hull in soft applause, welcoming each traveler who has carried their storms, their laughter, their unfinished prayers across the endless blue. And the ship, faithfully to its purpose, rest at last in still water, not as an ending, but as a doorway held open where every soul steps forward into light wide enough to hold the whole ocean. Ocean views. Thank you.
It's that time of night. Our next performer will be sharing a poem, and they wanted us to know that they are happy to be here. Please give a very warm welcome to Heather. Heather, come on up.
All right, well, I'll start with the two that I know. Mine do relate a little bit to the theme. And for me, the theme of Ready, Set, Go has to do with beginnings. And for me, beginnings have to happen again and again. So the first poem is called A Rabbit Named Frank. Frank the Miracle Bunny, born blue in a pandemic snowstorm, resurrected in a farmer's pocket on his way to the garbage bucket, from a state of frozen hockey puck to pink and ready for substitute milk. Frank, who waited for tomorrow, staring at his water in a cloudy bowl, packed in with his poop and a pile of straw, through 4 more winters of freeze and thaw, before we saw him in chicken wire at the farm and plodded through the night to bring him home. Frank, who thumps before it rains, who in the middle of his age sleeps like Superman, legs flung out behind. Afternoons he lolls onto his side, dreaming deep with eyes wide open, so our hearts drop, sure he is dead, till he leaps to his feet again. Frank, who neither mews nor tweets nor howls, who won't come when called, won't move when pushed, and won't yield to the dog when they cross paths in the hall. Frank, who hears the car turn home 2 miles off, whose ears from rabbit fights are scarred, who flicks me off with his hind paws, who nudges, flops, sploots, and chins, whose whiskers take the measure of us all. Frank, who froze and thawed and lived on straw and waited half his life for his life to begin. This is one I've been working on, and it's about the time I knew that I was going to be making a new beginning. It's called When I Was a Little Girl in Church. When I was a little girl in church, the women didn't speak, except to speak in tongues. One woman in particular, her skirt hung down longer in the front than in the back, was given her own microphone, even though she couldn't sing on key, because she could speak in tongues of angels, not of men. That woman was yelling, "Shalula la hunda mekari." And those men were talking sin, signs, and Armageddon, and I ran to the front to be saved again. I said, "Holy, holy, holy, and Father just, and oh Jesus, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." I wanted my name in the Lamb's Book of Life. I didn't want to be left behind when Jesus came back. I didn't want my every secret made known. I wanted them all under the blood. So that woman was speaking the tongues of angels, saying, "Oi McCoy, Melinda boy Tari." And everyone laid hands on me, so I would say it too. And those men were speaking the tongues of men, saying, "Break her, Father. Take her, remake her." And in my ear, that woman whispered, "You've got to open your mouth, honey. You've got to talk." And I understood her perfectly, but I did not say a word. I didn't know much about Melinda Boy, but I knew there was no tongue of little girls, and I knew I was no angel. And what with those men's hands heavy on my head, my secrets heavy in my heart, and Jesus coming back at any minute, I found myself pretty well speechless. When at last the pastor turned his microphone off and we got in line for the potluck, as I reached for a fork, I realized I had understood that woman when she told me to open my mouth. That woman had spoken to me in the tongues of women, not of angels, and no one had struck her dead. And that got me thinking about a whole lot of things. So the next Sunday, when those men were talking sin, hell, and the devil, and that woman was yelling, "Shalula balinda shoylari," I just knew she was saying something beautiful. And when the pastor told us she was saying lost, sinner, and woe, I knew I had something to say. And the last one is called Found, and it's about being ready to start over. Finding is different than creating from nothing. No one starts from nothing, and you can only find what you once had and lost, what you erased but bleeds through the walls you wipe clean again each morning. What was will always bleed through until it's taken as a given. Recovering is accepting what's been written by another's hand in ink you'd never choose, and believing that you can use it. You must read it, a terrible story you'd never utter, never want to tell. You must grieve it until the spine cracks and the pages soften, until you're left with leaves falling through your hands. Discovering is not making, but arriving, and what arrives is you. It's you who must pick up the book each morning and scan lightly for what echoes through, and then your pen, the one you choose, in your own hand, cross out the rest, see what adds up, accumulates, see past, present, fuse, unfuse, uncovering what carries through, the gives and takes of becoming you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're at our time. But I'm wondering, we never have any time. Can I do something? Yeah. You never know us Quakers. All right. So I actually kind of scared myself. I put all of my poems in my phone when I was feeling very organized in one note. And then I was like, where are they? And the whole time I've just been like, where are they? And it was like, no, they're all in one place. They're all underneath of themselves. All right. So I believe that this is from, I know it's from June 18th, but I think it's from June 18th, 2017, June 18th, 2019, something like that. And I just feel like, I don't know. Okay. What do you do when the wounds of a city are too deep for one night of peace? Ms. America, help us, please. The people have been poisoned. Well, there's no word on this situation, so I guess it would be present tense too. Put the fucking baton down. Take down your star-spangled banner, because it didn't save him or her or them or me. It waves gracefully in the air, undisturbed by how far down it's led us. Its heirloom fabric expertly woven with racial and class and gender hierarchies, its reasons and justifications. Please forward this to your president. Miss America, I need you to teach me how to read. Help us pull his body from the water. Where were you in the early 2000s? I guess it doesn't matter, because you're here now, lured by incantations of breweries and art districts, virgin 1900s hardwood floors, good hair and good skin, an untouched, underappreciated urban gem. Good schools. Get fucking ready. I'm gonna open up a sunblock shop. See, even like I got a theme or two somewhere hidden in my phone. All right, so guys, thank you so very much for joining us here today. Thank you for those of you who shared. Thank you for those of you who came to listen. I know we had some people who it's their first time gracing the stage, and that is always such a pleasure. I am triple checking something, because it just went straight out of my brain. So we are going to join back into this beautiful space, hopefully with like a little bit of warmer weather, which will go with our theme perfectly, Turn Up the Heat, for June 16th. That's right, you're gonna meet me back here on June 16th at 7 p.m. sharp. Doors open at 6:30 for the theme, Turn Up the Heat. And I want to give a very warm round of applause to thank the Arts Council of Princeton for dealing with us. Thank you. For those of you that don't know, we do record these events. If you have performed tonight and you don't want to be published on the interwebs, just find me, find somebody, and say, get me off of there, and we'll get you off of there. We'll delete the footage. You can find the footage of yourself performing, or if you'd love to re-reference something you heard here tonight on YouTube at the Arts Council of Princeton's YouTube page. It will take us about 4 weeks processing time. We are very grateful for our processing person who puts this on YouTube. She is outstanding, and we are very patient with her as always. We are up to date on YouTube, so if you came here, you want to find your stuff, go find it on YouTube. We got it all up there. I can't wait to see you here on June. Woo!